Emcure Pharma climbs nearly 5% as Kotak Institutional Equities initiates coverage on the stock with an ad rating and a target price of 16.55, calling the company one of the few Indian pharma majors with no direct US generics exposure, leading to greater stability in earnings.
Bajaj Finance climbs over 1% after Morgan Stanley issues an overweight call on the stock with a target price of 9,000 rupees a share. The brokerage says Bajaj Finance is attractive at the current price of Bajaj Housing Finance with a 20% holdco discount.
IT stocks trade lower ahead of the Federal Reserve's rate cut decision and a 5% decline in Accenture overnight after it postponed promotions, raising risks on near-term visibility.
Bandhan Bank climbs as the stock comes out of the F&O ban. The stock is up nearly 2% in trade today.
You have a bunch of other stocks also in focus. Segal, the stock climbs almost 4% after the company becomes the lowest bidder for projects worth nearly 2,500 crore rupees. Meanwhile, Reliance Infra and Reliance Power too surge as both companies settle obligations. Good morning. You're watching us here on Chartbusters. I'm Mangalam Malu. Today with me again is Vivek Iyer. You know, the market's absolutely flat on the frontline end of things, but a lot more happening today than what was happening yesterday. And that is the tug-of-war between IT and banks. Ahead of the weekly options expiry, the Nifty Bank is doing very well, closing in on that 52,500 mark, whereas the IT index is pulling its weight down on the Nifty. So if you look at a contribution chart, you would see on the way up, there is a lot of pull coming in from the Nifty IT, whereas there is a lot of push coming in from the Nifty Bank, which is why on the front line, while the things are absolutely flat, you have it, there is the team lineup between HDFC Bank, Bajaj Finance, L&T, Reliance, all of them contributing on the way up. But on the way down, it is Infosys, TCS, TechM, Wipro, and the others. A tug of war continues, frontline indices flat, and the Bank Nifty doing extremely well. Hi, Vivek.
Good morning, Mangalam. Like you rightly mentioned, it appears also, sectors that you generally consider as safe havens or defensives, especially the IT and pharma. Today, they are seeing quite a bit of a sell-off. So you just mentioned some of the IT names, the large cap IT names, but have a look at, some of the mid-cap IT names. So if you look at some of the names like Emphasis, Persistent, look at names like LTTS, the sell-off there is significantly higher. Even an Oracle Financial, that is OFSS, that particular stock too today taking it on the chin. And like I mentioned, pharma stocks too seeing quite a bit of a sell-off. Look at names like Abbott, look at names like Glenmark Pharma, Laurus Labs, Biocon, all of them down anywhere between 2–2.5% in the trading session today. But let's move on. Let's welcome Soni Patnaik of JM Financial Services for a technical check on the market. Good morning, Soni. Thank you so much for joining us. What's your take on the current levels of the Nifty and how are you looking at market from the current levels?
Good morning, Vivek Mangalam. Thank you for having me on your show. I think Nifty has formed a strong base around 25,300 and it has been sustaining over 25,400 levels. However, intraday, there is a resistance around 25,450 and fresh upside can only be seen above this level. So any move above 25,450 in spot levels can see another 100 odd points on intraday move, and that's the level to watch out for. In either way, 25,300 is acting as a very strong support. Even if there is a 50 to 80 points of a small profit booking, a correction post any event impact, one can see a buy on dip strategy from those levels as well. These upside bullish upside is still quite intact for Nifty and it can test above the 25,600 odd levels on a positional basis as well. So continue to hold on for Nifty longs with a stop loss of 25,200 and any opportunity you get on a buy on dips can also be added, and any fresh move above the 25,450 mark can add another 100 points. Talking about Bank Nifty, which is performing quite strongly today, it is heading for a mark towards 52,700 to 53,000 for the intraday move. So I think that's the index to watch out for. A lot of strength in HDFC Bank and in for the NBFCs, which is together holding the market for today. So hold on to the longs even for FinNifty and Bank Nifty for higher targets of 53,000.
All right, 53,000. A lot of calls written at the 52,500 mark. Will be very interesting to see what happens in the last hour, given the weekly options expiry for the Nifty Bank as well. Soni, a lot of individual stocks buzzing around as well. Do you have any on your list?
Definitely, Mangalam, because I'm bullish in the Bank Nifty and NBFC space. The first pick comes from that space, ICICI Prudential, which is witnessing fresh longs today, and it has crossed a hurdle of 1020 EMA. So one can buy in futures around 760 and on any small declines up to 756. Keep a stop loss of 748 in futures and a target of 775 and 780. This is also our official call today. The second pick is from Jubilant Food, which is showing very good strength since yesterday it has been adding up fresh longs. One can buy Jubilant Foods at around 680, keep a stop loss of 665 and a target of 710 can be seen.
All right, Jubilant Food management commentary in the Jefferies conference was rather positive, and it has been one of those sleeper hits of this year, up almost 61% from its 52-week low. But, you know, we can't let you go without a view on BSE. It's a big mover today, up 11%. So, you know, day before yesterday, there was a big move on BSE. Yesterday, there was some profit taking. And today, from the word go, the stock has risen in double digits with big volumes. Do you track this one?
Definitely, Mangalam. I think both BSE and M6 have been absolutely strong in the uptrend. If we talk about BSE, there's a very strong support of 3,400. If somebody already has bought in from lower levels, continue to hold in with a trailing stop loss of 3,400. Even fresh entry is advisable somewhere on dips towards 3,600. Keep your stop losses at 3,400. Positionally, the stock can test 4,000 mark. So I think that's the level to watch out for.
Thank you so much, Sony. In fact, you know, three of the exchange stocks have a look at IEX, BSE as well as MCX. The last couple of weeks, you know, these stocks have been in focus and have been doing very, very well. But let's shift focus to our special segment where we get you a few ideas for profit from Money Control Pro. Sachin Pal of moneycontrol.com joins us now to talk about a stock that he is tracking. Over to you, Sachin.
The stock that we have chosen in our ideas for profit today is Hyderabad Industries Limited, or HIL, which operates primarily in the building material segment. For the first quarter of FY25, the company reported decent revenue growth, primarily led by strong volume growth in the polymer solutions business. The other business verticals of the company, which is the flooring solutions business, which primarily caters to the European market, also reported a decent revenue growth despite weakness in the external business environment. The other two business verticals, which is the building solutions business as well as the roofing solutions business, reported tepid top-line growth for the quarter gone by. Overall, the margins of the company were under pressure primarily due to adverse raw material prices as well as competitive market conditions. The same is likely to continue going forward as well. However, the company has recently made an acquisition and is making a number of strategic initiatives to be able to expand its distribution footprint as well as expand its revenue base through multiple levers. The company generates an operational cash flow of almost 150 to 170 crores, and at a market cap of close to 2,200 crores, the business appears reasonably valued for accumulation from a long-term standpoint.
All right, that's about stock that is an idea for profit. Just before we slip into a short break, a couple of other cash stocks also spiking as we speak. IOL Chemicals is one which is up 5% currently, and the other one that is seeing some traction is HEG. So keep an eye out on HEG and IOL Chemical. IOL Chemical, the intraday comes up for you. It's at the high point, and HEG is the other one which has seen a bit of a spike, up 7% as well. Take a short break, come back, focus on markets, and get you a lot more stock-specific action. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Chartbusters. Well, two stocks in focus, you know, both of them have gone ahead and announced that they would be doing large fundraisings. Both of them today are seeing differing fortunes. The first one, of course, is Motherson Sumi. Very large fundraise, close to $1 billion via both a mix of equity as well as convertible shares. The stock is doing very well in the session. In fact, the stock has gained quite significantly the last 3 to 4 trading sessions. But on the other hand, troubled airline SpiceJet, you know, that also went ahead and said that they're looking to raise significant amount of funds via the QIP route. But today, on the back of the large discount that particular fundraise is seeing, the stock today sulking almost 3.5% lower. Moving on, brokerage firm Kotak Institutional Equities has initiated coverage on Emcure Pharma with an ad rating. The stock has advanced close to 5%. Ekta brings us more.
Well, yes, Kotak Institutional Equities has initiated coverage of MCure Pharma with an ad and a target price of 16.55. They say that it's one of the few Indian pharma majors with no direct US generics exposure. It lends greater earnings stability. The fact that they don't have that much US generics exposure. They've built a complex portfolio across India, Canada, European Union, as well as the emerging markets. They expect MCure to report a 14% sales CAGR over FY24 to FY27, led by factors such as healthy organic growth, in-licensing deal with Sanofi, consolidation of an acquisition that they made some time ago, Mantra, and most legal challenges behind them.
All right, Ekta, take that point. In the meanwhile, there was a big up move that we've seen in the market itself. The Nifty bank has crossed that 52,500 mark and in quick succession added 200 more points beyond that as well. 52,700 for the Nifty bank, sitting with a gain of 500 points. And that's reflected in the kind of moves that we've seen on the Nifty as well. Both the Nifty and the Sensex, they've moved to fresh all-time highs. And as a result of which, we've seen a big move on all the other names as well. But this despite the weakness that we're seeing in the IT pack. We'll actually talk about the IT pack in just a bit. But Bajaj Finance is the stock that I want to talk about today. And this is largely because of the big up move that we've seen in Bajaj Housing Finance over the last couple of trading sessions. We've seen some profit taking on that stock. But this morning, there's a note that has come in from Morgan Stanley. They've updated their model on Bajaj Finance after the Bajaj Housing Finance IPO. Why is that? Because at a big move on Bajaj Housing Finance, it's trading at close to 6.1 times FY26 price to book. That's as per Morgan Stanley's estimates. And if you give a 20% holding company discount to that and look at the current valuation of Bajaj Housing Finance, the remainder, which is of Bajaj Finance, is seeming attractive at around 3.6 times FY26 price to book, and as a result of which they are overweight on that stock with a 9,000 rupee target price. But let's talk about IT itself. We were talking about that being under pressure. They're seeing some bit of a decline ahead of the FOMC rate decision and also some overnight news coming in. Rima joins in to tell us more. Rima.
Thanks so much for that. So IT stocks have taken a beating today. One, there is nervousness ahead of tomorrow's much anticipated Fed rate decision, but also stocks have done phenomenally well. Just yesterday, the Nifty IT index had hit a record high. From early June, the Nifty IT index is up 30%. So there is also profit booking, which has set in. And then there is the news flow from Accenture, which is sour sentiment. So Accenture has said that they have delayed staff promotions by 6 months. It will now happen in the month of June because their consultancy business is facing some challenges. Clients are taking a cautious approach to spending, and Accenture's stock price fell 5%. But of course, the big trigger from Accenture will come on the 26th of September when they come out with their Q4 numbers and give you a guidance for next year. But IT services companies, the Indian listed companies like Infy TCS, have a lesser exposure to the consulting business. But we also chatted with the management of Happiest Minds, and they continue to sound upbeat. So they're maintaining their full year revenue forecast. There's also a Citi note on LTI Mindtree where they're saying Q2 revenue will be similar to Q1. There is no pickup in discretionary spends. Green shoots in demand environment may not result in an improvement in the order book. The pipeline is similar, or it's not too different from the recent past. They're also unsure of how furloughs will play out in the December quarter. And they're saying that on margins, in the prior quarter, Q4, it had bottomed out. And from here on, things will improve. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Rima. All of the IT stocks, especially the mid-cap IT stocks, taking it on the chin today. But let's now slip into a short break. We'll get you more on the markets and stock-specific action on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. There's mild moderation that we've seen on the frontline indices after hitting a record high just moments ago. Not too much, just a wee bit from the highs. But the mid-cap end of things, we've seen some fresh, wave of profit taking. And I call it profit taking because the kind of stocks that are seeing a fresh decline are the likes of Trent, which is now at the low point of trade, corrected about 2.5% from the highs, has been a big mover. Yesterday's big mover was Mahanagar Gas on that back of that UBS note, and right now is currently seeing some profit booking as well at the low point of trade on MGL2. But a bunch of other stocks are also on our radar. Segal is one of them, is higher after the company has become the lowest bidder for projects worth nearly 2,500 crore rupees, Vivek.
Well, you're right. First up, Segal, remember this particular stock is a recent listing, just came on the exchanges a couple of weeks ago. They also declared their Q1 results recently. We had the management on our channel. So what's actually happened overnight? The company has told the exchanges that they had participated earlier in NHAI bidding process. This particular process of NHAI was via the HAM model, which is the hybrid annuity model. And this particular bidding was for two sections of the Ayodhya bypass road. So the first section was the southern section and the other one was the northern section. So the company has emerged as L1 for both sections. So as far as the southern Ayodhya bypass is concerned, the bid cost is close to 1,300 crore, and as far as the northern section was concerned, the bid project cost was close to 1,200 crore. So close to 2,500 crore of order win is what Segal is looking at. Remember, the order book at the end of Q1 for the company was close to 9,470 crore. So this particular order win improves revenue visibility to a significant extent. No wonder then today looking at the stock doing quite well in the session.
Absolutely, and that's not the only stock which is doing well, right? Among the others that you're watching out for today are some from the R Power, R Infra group as well.
That's right. We generally don't discuss, the ADG group stocks so often, but some positive news flow coming in, and both of the stocks are quite active in the session. Reliance Power, when you're looking at it, the company has said that its obligations as a guarantor on behalf of Vidarbha Industries Power are now fully settled. What was the extent of the guarantees that the company had given? 3,870 crore, and now the company says that the listed entity has zero debt. Now, coming to Reliance Infra, again, it's a debt settlement that the company has come up with. There has been a one-time settlement that has been reached between the company and Edelweiss Asset Reconstruction Company. And on the back of that, the company says that it has settled all obligations of the NCDs that were issued to the company to the tune of 385 crore. So no wonder then both R Power as well as R Infra doing quite well in the session today.
Absolutely. So those are a couple of stocks that are doing well. But, we've been talking about how BSE has been doing well. Just keep an eye out on a couple of these other capital market themes as well. Angel One has had a decent week so far, and this morning as well. Once again, it's recovered from the lows, currently sitting the gain of almost 3% So dips out here have been bought into as well. So BSE is doing well. Pull up, Angel One. There has been a bit of a spike out there. The other one out there is CDSL, typically again looked at as a proxy to the stock market financialization theme. So CDSL is the other one which is sitting with a gain of 4%. Remember, just moments ago we were talking about how HEG is showing some traction. Now that stock has increased its gains from 7% to in double digits itself. So currently at the high point of trade with a fair amount of volumes on that one as well. Just keeping an eye out on some of the other names as well. PVR Inox, has moved to the high point of trade. So maybe the movie pipeline, etc. And post the Ganpati season, maybe the street believes that over the next couple of weekends, we will get some decent movies for people to go ahead and watch in the cinemas, and that's explaining the kind of move that we're seeing on PVR Inox. No real problems with the market. Some profit booking from the record highs. The Nifty Bank continues to do well.
PVR Inox, the rally started after Spree 2, right? So Spree 2, got very good reviews, got very good bookings, and the stock is done. You spoke about HEG. So the other stock that generally moves in tandem with HEG is actually Graphite India.
Okay.
And just having a look at Graphite India, that particular stock too is doing quite well. Now this is quite surprising because globally, when you're looking at the global competitor, that is Graftech, that particular stock has not really had a very good time as far as the capital markets are concerned, but Indian equity markets are rewarding both Graphite India as well as HEG. But with that, it's a wrap on Chartbusters. Stay tuned. Trading Hour comes up next.